Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Marcia Parker.
Fuego here.
I'm Brittini Lee.
And I'm Cecil Laird, and we're back with another review for you guys. This one is a TV series pilot review. I guess you can call it TV series because it's technically streaming series on Netflix. Today we're reviewing the first episode of the 10-episode first season of Santa Clarita Diet on Netflix. So we're going to do the first episode today because we're all on separate stages, essentially. Marcia's up to 4, Fuego's up to 9, and I've only had a chance to watch 1 because I'm putting together the show for you guys, so cut me some slack. So we're going to do episode 1 today, and then I think we'll come back and either do a full series review or podcast, one or the other, but we will return to discuss the rest of the episodes once we're all caught up. But let's get into it now. We'll do this in a typical horror show review fashion. We'll talk about story, acting, effects, all that good stuff in turn. But first off, the story of this, Fuego, you want to hit what the story is just real quick?
Oh, yeah. So we have a real estate married duo with a teenage daughter. And all of a sudden, she starts exhibiting zombie-esque characteristics in fact that she wants to eat flesh and so on and so forth. And there's really no reason given initially as to why this happens. That kind of is alluded to as the series goes on, since I've watched much farther than my friends here. But needless to say, it's darkly comedic, it's gory, it's way more vulgar than I was expecting it to be, and I had a lot of fun with it. It's really a basic premise that they just kind of milk there in the suburbs, and Santa Clarita, I mean, come on now, you can only imagine.
So essentially, she starts to have these cravings, and her husband has to start to cover for her, essentially, and that's just the tip of the iceberg from the pilot, so we'll keep it there for this time. But let's hit the acting because there's a lot of good talent in this. We have Mr. Olyphantastic himself, Timothy Olyphant. We have Drew Barrymore. And then we have, of course, Nathan Fillion in this first episode. And it is...
Little Andy Richter, very briefly, too.
Yep, Andy Richter shows up as well. And then, there's some newer actors, specifically the teenage daughter and the neighbor son. Who, as a matter of fact, segueing into the acting, we can talk about the story and the acting kind of together. I thought the story was interesting, but what sold it for me was the acting, except for one person, which we'll get to.
We might all be in consensus about that, too.
Well, then I'll just say, I loved the acting in everyone in this show except Drew Barrymore.
Same.
I do not like Drew Barrymore in this show.
That's the only thing
That's the only thing I don't like. I love Timothy Olyphant. I love the daughter, and I love the son. And again, I've only had the first episode to judge them on. And Nathan Fillion was great, although he was just a really crappy version of sort of Nathan Fillion.
I love when he's playing an asshole so much. I was talking with Brittany and you about this, man. He's great when he's just, he's a slimer.
You can tell he's not a dick, and when he plays a dick, it's so much fun. You can tell he's having fun with it.
But sticking with the acting just briefly, Timothy Olyphant specifically, I think, is having a lot of fun with the role. I like when he's at the store staring at a particular item. I'm assuming that carries through. I loved that stuff, and I liked his reactions, and like when he was dancing, at one point in the aisles, and he's doing his best to be the comedic straight man to the terrifying straight woman, that is his wife kind of thing. And then I really liked the daughter, who I thought was going to be kind of annoying at first. I wasn't sure about her whole look, but as the episode went on and she started to interact with the neighbor, I liked her more and more. So overall, I think the acting is very strong. I think Drew is the one that I have the biggest problem with because it just feels like she is trying really, really hard. And I can kind of tell.
Have you watched any of her movies?
Yeah.
I feel like she's just acting how she always acts.
In the romantic comedies, she seems more normal. It seems like she's having to force some of this weirdness, maybe.
Well, I'll get to why.
Okay, fair enough.
I am really curious as to why.
Hey, Marcia, why don't you go ahead then? What did you think of the story and the acting?
I'm dying to know what.
Just the pilot.
Right. I feel that it's really awkward, and the whole thing is really awkward. There's no flow to the whole storyline of the writing. I think what it is comes down is to how they're presenting the information. Okay. It just feels disconnected, going from the part where she starts vomiting, and then all of a sudden
Loved
she's
it.
Slapsticky.
a zombie, and it's like, okay. I don't know. It just, the whole thing just doesn't fit well with me. I feel like everybody is doing an okay job acting with the material that they have, but I feel like this has been, they're trying to be different, but it's the same that I've seen in other things. Like, they're trying really hard to make it and they even say in an interview about the show, it's not supposed to be a zombie show. It's a family drama with the overlining of a zombie. And to me, it doesn't mix for me at all. I feel like it's too much. And the part where, and this is the biggest thing for me, because I watch a lot of shit, okay? Not a lot of stuff gets to me. The biggest stuff that's ever gotten to me is, like, animal cruelty. Like, I can't watch that stuff. But surprisingly, when she bites off somebody's fingers, and then, like, you hear the crunching of it
as she chews it,
and it's like watching Desperate Housewives, and they're like eating each other, and it's just like a little too much for me. Like, the way they presented it, I was like, I'm not okay with that.
but that's
The whole scene, I was not okay
I think
with.
that's
That was
an
actually
effective,
why I
was
liked
really
it so
bad.
much.
that's an
That
effective
was a really
presentation,
crazy
though. I
scene.
think
Yeah.
I think that means it's effective
And
because
the-
it got to you so much.
I don't think it's effective. I think I don't think it flowed
Okay.
the way it should have been
Okay,
flowing.
fair
It's
enough.
just I want to preference this as saying, like, going into it, I was not impressed with the trailer. I felt like I've seen some more shows that I like a lot better, and I went in trying to be like, okay, we'll just try it, and I did, like, chuckle at a couple things, like, you know, the interactions at the store, and
Eating
like,
his balls. Yeah.
there were a couple instances where I'm like, oh, that's funny. Maybe this is gonna be better. No, I hate this. But I'll watch all the way through and see if I like it more. But I don't like that they're not explaining what's happening. I don't like
Give it
how
time,
they're
give it time.
using the kid next door as their go-to person to advise them on what to do.
They're Randy.
Yeah, I don't know. And the neighbors are really annoying.
Yeah, I don't like the cop neighbors.
I think they're deliberately annoying, though, and that's the thing. This is a
It's
very
like Angry
disjointed,
Housewives.
all over the place,
We're
but
desperate.
it's not for everybody, obviously, in its heavy-handed nature, and you know that the actors are really playing it up. Like, I did not like the neighbor who's also on Sunny Philadelphia. It's actually Charlie Day's wife in real life, which is what's kind of funny. But that's the way she was written, though, and so I don't think she's supposed to be likable. And I mean, I actually enjoy the writing because you can feel the warmth of a family that's still trying to keep it together and seems to genuinely care about each other.
And that's the point.
was-
That is the point of this show, because I watched some of the interviews about it, and the whole thing is supposed to be about a family that is a drama, a family that doesn't give up, and they work together, and it just happens to also be the mom's a zombie. And to me, it doesn't connect to me. Like, it's
Brittany-
one or the other.
Okay. Sorry. Brittany, go ahead, since you haven't said anything yet.
I'm kind of on the same page as Marcia. I mean, like, I don't care about Drew Barrymore's character at all. I don't.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I'd probably like the show if they killed her and got a new zombie. If somebody else could come on and
Well, I think it's just the way they're writing her character.
that may be it. Maybe it's the
Just
way they're
I
writing
don't
her
really
character.
care.
Maybe it's the way she's playing her character.
Because, something
not
that
taking
may be
on
worth mentioning is after she becomes a zombie, she basically starts to act on id,
Yeah.
So a
Impulse,
lot
yeah.
of impulse and stuff. And that, to me, felt very sitcom setup-y. It's like every episode is going to be driven by something she did because she's driven by the id now.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And that's
okay.
that's the part
Yeah.
of the, like, awkwardness that I get from it, because it's like, okay, you're trying to be serious here, but then she's being goofy, ridiculous, and absurd. And
So maybe
then,
like a zombie Office
I don't know.
almost, like trying to go
Yeah.
for that awkward humor,
It's
but
like,
in a zombie.
This Is Us meets
family drama.
Office meets iZombie,
Yeah.
and makes me,
Gotcha.
I'll vom for her.
Zombie
Because-
Modern Family kind of thing.
Maybe even a little bit of
Maybe
that.
That's the
could-
vibe that I
could-
got.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
can see, but I like Modern
So I
Family.
guess in that case, you have to watch.
I
at
feel like
least
the writing is
9
better.
episodes before
Hmm.
you get to know the characters to like the show.
Well, that's basically
I'm
the whole season
for-
because it's 10.
Yeah.
Well,
so.
it took me like 9-10 episodes of catching Modern Family to finally be like, you know what, this might be interesting.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They are little less than 30-minute episodes. I've watched a lot more than everybody else, and sorry for little spoilerificness here or there, but I say stick it out. You know, watch some more episodes. It's well written and plotted.
I'm gonna watch it.
I'll finish it to see if maybe like my perception will change from it. And there are moments that I will admit that were like, okay, cool, that's funny and that's clever. But I just wish it was the whole thing.
I'm in specifically for the next thing we should cover, which is the effects. I thought the effects from the pilot were great. At that moment that Marcia talked about with when she bites off that person's fingers. Not only does she bite off the person's fingers and like chew them down like right in front of the person, which is really funny while like talking to them about it, she like goes and just starts sucking the blood from the wound, and like the blood loss makes the person faint and stuff, and it becomes like sort of a full out attack. And when you see the aftermath, there's like one leg is completely stripped of flesh, it's down to skeleton, like
it's all
guts are hanging out everywhere, and it's like and you know, when you see it, it's like a really disturbing complete package, especially if you like certain people, but it was really effective in the gory aspect. I was like, oh man, that's tough. And like you said, it was really gross to watch her chew the fingers
and the
but
crunching
super effective
noises, like because they like make that crunchy noises, like if you're
on
chewing on a
finger.
bone, and then like a dog crunching on a bone. That's like what it sounded like. And normally I'd be like, awesome, but I think it's just how it was presented.
That is so nonchalant.
It just like there's something about it that just really like it's like watching Modern Family and they start eating each other. It's like this isn't work for me. Like I can't get it to. Maybe I'm
too
just
disconnected.
Yeah, it
that was
doesn't
exactly
flow for
why
me.
I liked it though. So yeah, I mean, different
it does.
strokes, I guess.
It's
Yeah.
weird. It's weird.
It's a very weird show.
It
And
hits
it
you
could
with
be just like
curveballs.
I'm just not, because I guess you could say it is a new type of format that I'm just not used to and I'm not ready to accept, because I've seen other shows that I thought worked really well. That this is kind of like, I feel like they're trying too hard, but
in some ways they
know.
definitely are.
I need to keep watching, but it's almost like this could be considered a subgenre of like day-to-day horror. It's like, you know, stuff that a person involved in a horror trope would have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and this
kind of
is
like
now
the Behind the Mask or something.
a little bit, yeah. Like if there was a horror
I like
reality
that
show,
movie.
this would be, you know,
Yeah.
the reality show about the zombie family. Like, can you imagine, like the real zombie housewives of Santa Clarita? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's something like that, maybe.
That's what they're gonna call season 2.
Oh my gosh, yeah, so I was just thinking.
So I don't know. All in all, it's you can tell it's a bit off balance, the show.
It is all over the place. Marcia's totally right about that.
But I enjoyed it. Brittany was a little tepid on it.
Like I'm on the fence, really.
Yeah, we'll finish watching it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, and then we
I
can
feel like I
decide.
need to like finish the whole thing before saying
I like it or
don't
don't
bother.
like it.
I will say it was easily digestible, that first episode, because I started it at 11. Pun intended. Yeah.
Intended.
So, you know, I watched that first episode at 11:30. It ended at just about midnight, and I was ready to watch the next one, even though I knew I had to go to sleep for work the next morning.
He
so
was really hungry.
I wanted to continue watching it, though, so I know that's a sign of me liking a show to want to go right back in. And again, 10 half-hour episodes, that's 5 hours total. It's a minimum commitment when you compare it to a full 22-hour-long episode
Right.
season of
Oh,
a
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
This is more akin to a BBC 6-hour-long episode thing, except there's only 5 of them. So.
Yeah.
You know, for that alone, I think it's worth checking out. If you're a big fan of zombies or gore, I think this is worth checking out because it's
try it.
different. Yeah, give it a
it's-
try.
It's worth checking out. For the gore.
Because everybody has different reactions to it. So
Clearly.
Yeah, so I think it's worth for you to check it out and let us know how you feel, because maybe you have a different perspective that we may not have seen yet, or other added points. So
Right.
Not really kid friendly though.
No.
Gotta say,
No.
don't let
I'm
your
telling
youngins
you.
watch it.
like
might-
that moment, and it still sticks with me, because you guys know, like, not a lot of stuff does,
Mhm.
and I'm still like,
It was rough. It was rough. but in that fun way. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching. That's going to do it for our review of the pilot episode of Santa Clarita Diet on Netflix. I'm assuming it's going to do well enough to come back because of the star power and the gore, and because I've heard a lot of people say that they're really enjoying it, despite a couple of opinions to the other direction in this room.
Oh no, I mean the Collider people hated it. They said it wasn't
Really?
funny, and yet USA Today gave it 4 stars. So I mean, it's divided in the critics
so it
circles
is
too.
polarizing.
It
Okay,
is, yeah.
all right. All right, well, there you go, guys. Let us know in the comments below what you think of it. Let's get this conversation going, because 2 of us will agree with you, possibly, and 2 of us won't, no matter which way you go. So I'm interested to see what you all think. But until the next review, whether it be this or something else, we do absolutely want to get to a review of the rest of this series. I don't know if it'll end up being review or podcast form. Why don't you let us know that in the comments below too? Would you rather see a video review of the whole series or just wait and see it in podcast form? Let us know. We appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Brittany Lee.
Gracias, I've been Jaime and Fuego.
I'm Marcia Parker.
And remember,
Stay
scared. And buy our stuff below.
Like, share, subscribe.